at the southeast intersection, southeast of the intersection. So we have, just to give a couple, a little summary of some of the comments that we've gone through this approval process. We've changed the material of the gravel yard that's shown on there from a stone yard into one chiefly using millings. Yep. We've changed some of the materials of the fencing to show a more ornamental fence, just to give a nicer appearance from the front of the building. We've also included actually, if you want to, Josh, if you want to flip to the back, I have a sample on the, I believe it's on the last detail sheet. There's an example of one of the fence selections. Yeah, in that lower corner there. It's just a simple wrought iron fence, and there's going to be several automated gates that are going to be associated with that. We've also added a couple of additional gates just to allow ease of access to the surrounding area, so Mr. Young can better maintain the surrounding grass and pond structures that are already in place. We are not, or rather, we are proposing a bioretention facility to handle additional runoff that's going to be generated from the project, but the majority of water quality that we need to attenuate is going to be provided by the existing ponds, which were originally designed to handle new construction on these out parcels when the facility was built back in 2002. And I believe those are most of the concerns that we had last time. Is there any other questions that we've yet to cover?
I think the fence was, some decorative type fence, and you did that, so.
Yes.
I think we covered all the other bases. The other thing we talked about was a sign, but that's down the road. I guess you'll come in with whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah, he'll be applying for sign permits independently.
Okay. Anybody, any questions? I think they've done everything we've asked.
Yep.
Anybody? You guys are okay?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Folks are all set? All right, we're good to go. We've done seeker on it, so just need a motion for final approval for this. Somebody want to make, Dave, you want to do it? Or?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for final approval for Bronner Rents in 5 Mile Line Road, Webster, subject to project review committee comments, subject to preliminary approval conditions, subject to all applicable government fees, subject to the Department of Public Works approvals. Significant construction shall occur within 1 year, as deemed by the planning board, to expire on December 2nd, 2026. The conditions of the preliminary and final approval are depicted on the cover page of the final design plans. Engineer for the proposed project shall provide a letter of certification that all work was completed as per planning board resolution of final approval before a CO will be issued. I don't know, is there a letter of credit required in this? Josh?
I don't believe so.
Just for anything that's in the road, right? And the stormwater features.
Okay, well, a letter of credit to the town for the project shall include fee for the engineer's final certification inspection of the site. All stormwater facilities be constructed first. Subject to resolution of final approved minutes, and approvals are subject to drawing. We have a drawing number. Job number
It would be the same as the one we had, actually.
1843-25.
That's right.
dated 11/2/2025. That's the motion.
I think on your elevation drawing, you showed a sign up there. That doesn't include that sign in the approval. So-
Yes, I think we're clear on that.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's your motion,
That's
Dave?
the motion.
Okay, we need a second.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye. Guess you're good to go. Good luck.
Great.
Welcome to Webster.
Second item on tonight's agenda, Bellaterra Maintenance Garage located at Terra Verde Way, lot number 209. Applicant is Mike Ritchie of Costage Engineering, who is requesting final site plan approval associated with the construction of a 1,600 square foot accessory maintenance garage on a 0.40 acre parcel located in a low-medium residential district under sections 269-10, 269-10 twice, and 350-36 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Good evening, Mike Ritchie from Costage Engineering. We were here before you 2 weeks ago, presented this project. We received some comments from you, mainly associated with the architecture of the building. We did talk with the architect, and we got revised elevations. We also went to the Zoning Board of Appeals last week. They granted the requested variances, but they had some requests as well. We've updated the plan per those. For planning board members who I guess aren't aware of what those comments from the zoning board were, they echoed your comment about wanting windows. They also were asking for some additional landscaping to buffer from the development to the west, and we proposed to put some evergreen trees along that west property line. They also asked if the stone veneer along the bottom part of the building could be extended around the side of the building, kind of just give it more of a consistent look.
Nice of them.
And they also asked if we could lower the height of the building, and we did that as well. Lowered the garage door and flattened the pitch out. And again, we've added, I think, 5 windows, and I believe the garage doors will have windows in there as well. So we received preliminary and seeker from this board 2 weeks ago and are requesting final, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Looks like it's all been done, so. Anybody, any questions, or
No, much better looking than what you came in with.
turned out good? Tom, you give any thought to putting a door in the back of the place?
Not on the back, on the side, there's gonna be a.
Yeah, you got a man door. I was thinking nothing in the back, like, what is that, 40 foot long or something?
Or 45.
So if you got something way in the back and you got equipment in there, I thought something out the back door. No biggie. Just a thought. Okay, anybody, any concerns, questions?
No.
No.
Okay, so we gotta make a motion for approval, final approval. This is an easy one.
Make a motion for final approval
As
for
presented.
the Bellaterra Maintenance Garage at Terra Verde Way. Subject to project review committee comments, subject to preliminary approval conditions, subject to all applicable government fees, subject to Department of Public Works approvals. Significant construction shall occur within 1 year as deemed by the planning board to expire on December 2nd, 2026. The conditions of the preliminary and final approval are depicted on the cover page of the final design plans. All stormwater facility, there's no stormwater
None of
facilities.
that.
Subject to a resolution of final approved minutes, and approvals are subject to drawing number is shown. I can't read it.
There's no way.
It's project number 6786, dated January 2025, or sorry, December 2025.
Thank you.
See that? Good for you, man. There's no way.
That's a motion.
Okay, we have a motion, need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's it, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.
Third item on tonight's agenda, Vision Mitsubishi Webster located at 765 Ridge Road. The applicant, Robert Sanders of Sanders Consulting, and Andrew Spencer of BME Associates, are requesting preliminary site plan approval and a public hearing associated with the construction of an approximately 1,200 square foot building addition, expansion of existing parking lot, and improvements to existing storm sewer systems on a 3.1 acre parcel located in a medium-intensity commercial district under sections 269-11 and 350-18 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Spencer with BME Associates, here representing Vision Mitsubishi for this application. Do have representation from Vision Mitsubishi if I cannot answer any of the board's questions. It was a very nice summary that you just had, and basically that is exactly what we're doing. A 1,200 square foot building addition on the east side of the building. And we are expanding a fire lane to go around that expansion of the building. The expansion is going to be used for customer car drop-off. So it's an indoor area where a vehicle will be able to be pulled in. Customer can get out of that vehicle indoors during inclement weather. And then the service members of Vision Mitsubishi would then take the vehicle into the shop for the customer. We are also proposing some minor pavement adjustments and amendments to the rear of the site. We are adding some additional parking on the site, and we did receive variances from the ZBA for buffers on the site. We have a buffer along the east side of approximately 13.3 feet, buffer to the west side of approximately 4 or 5 feet. It is on the plans that the board is now reviewing. We also received a reduction in the front buffer from 50 feet to 42 feet to allow for parking on the north side of the building to extend further. Those were angled parking spaces originally, and we're proposing them as a true 90-degree parking space. We do have storm sewers that are going through the site that'll have to be modified because there is a storm sewer that would be directly underneath the proposed building addition. We did provide a erosion control utility drainage plan. We are going to be taking that storm sewer a little bit further to the east and then connecting back up to some of the existing catch basins. We are not going to be doing anything within the public realm. All of the improvements on the site will be private. We did provide some responses to comments that we received from the August meeting that we attended, as well as comments that we received just on November 21st, and we did provide a letter explaining what we are going to be doing on the site. I think one of the main concerns that we get out of this is a concern about the oil water separator and drainage in this building. The plumbing contractor and the owner of the building, they're reviewing the existing oil water separator, determine what its capacity is. And then we will take a look at whether or not there is enough capacity within that oil water separator to put a drain within the building. Two options then occur. If there is not capacity, then the owner may not put a drain within the interior of the building. And secondly, if it does not have capacity, they may replace that oil water separator. That is an unknown at this time. So we would ask the board to potentially provide and give us a conditional approval, preliminary approval, based upon information that will be forthcoming. With that, I would love to take any questions that the board may have.
What they gave you a variance for the front off of Ridge Road setback?
Yes, That is correct. We received a variance to reduce the front setback from 50 feet to 42 feet.
So now, with every car dealer along, I don't know why they did that. Every car dealer along there is gonna be coming in looking to get a variance for 40-foot setback. The reason the 50-foot setback was there was to maintain that as a green space area, which leads me to another part. You've got trucks making deliveries and they're parking on the road. They were there yesterday. Parking on the road, unloading.
Okay. The applicant at this point in time, the owner of the facility, has agreed that any unloading and loading that is going to occur on this site will be
That's
done on the
bullcrap.
site.
They've done this before. I'm really upset with this. This is a case where the tail is wagging the dog. We've been through this. We were there. I've talked to those guys over there personally.
The new
Oh,
ownership.
yeah, okay, yeah, I knew whatever they are. They were there a month ago. And yeah, no problem. And then we asked to have a cut-through showing there right now, connecting the two units to be able to drive in and out and around. Looked like somebody took a pencil and made a line through there. Like that's gonna work? I have a real issue with this, I'm serious.
All of the turning movements on the site can be performed by those semi-trucks coming in and out of sites.
Then why are they not using it now?
I do not know that answer, sir.
Well, there you go. I do know, because they don't have the room to get the trucks in. So
There
they
should be-
park on the road and unload.
There
And
should be
They destroy the
dedicated-
shoulders.
Spaces, right, where the trucks can come in, unload.
That is not a typical occurrence on any type of commercial development. You do not have truck berths and truck areas through parking lots. We can take a look at a whole host of different car
Well,
dealerships here.
That's
that
the
have
issue,
limited
is that all
spaces.
these things have had,
The intent is that the loading and unloading is to be done on the site. And the applicant has agreed, when I discussed this with them, that that is what they're going to be doing. I was not aware that there was a vehicle out there on the road yesterday. That is, we are site engineers and landscape architects and surveyors trying to propose this. If there is a code violation that's being, if there's code violations occurring, then I would suggest that the town go and apply a code violation on this.
So I guess the question is, how are they gonna do it on-site? How are they gonna load and unload on-site?
I realize that you think this is a pencil drawing on a piece of paper. This has been done through a turning template program through AutoCAD. And it's showing the worst condition of what a turn could be at approximately 8 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour of the speed of a vehicle. The vehicle can make the turn from Ridge Road into the site. There is clearance and there is area available to do that. There is also clearance and area available for that vehicle to turn to the west and travel along the frontage of the building, and then make a turn back to the north to exit on the property adjacent.
I mean, that's assuming none of those cars are gonna be parked
Right.
there.
That is correct. When a vehicle
Right.
comes in, those vehicles, any
How
cars that are out
frequently
there-
are cars being dropped off? A week, a month? Like, how
I've gotta-
frequently?
I'll have to confirm.
So you're gonna move all those vehicles every single time?
No, that'll not happen.
Oh,
This is circa 2024. That's
So
correct.
we have, I mean, that would be.
Maybe she
I don't
needs to
know
go to
who's-
the
He has to go
microphone.
up and talk, yeah.
Do you mind stepping up for the
well,
microphone, please?
are you part of the applicant, or are you public?
Yes, this is June. She's from Vision Automotive.
Okay.
Yep, I'm June Kinsella from Vision Automotive. Yes, we'll have to move all those vehicles to pull the trucks in.
Every time?
yeah. And that,
Okay.
This isn't gonna
that's not
happen.
gonna happen.
No,
You can tell.
No, I
us
think
this
at our last meeting, we were pretty adamant
Doesn't happen.
that we wanted to see that this can occur within this facility. And if you're gonna be using the neighboring facility, do you have an agreement with the neighboring facility that they're gonna move their cars every single time to allow for this to come
They
through?
start.
And
It's
right now,
also-
I mean, this vehicle tracking movement, it's probably auto turn or whatnot. Coming in, you're not staying within the pavement limits. You're going into the shoulder. So I'm not, and I understand this is the worst-case scenario, but I don't see this, you know, a truck full of cars going onto the grass. I don't see that as something realistic. Plus, right now you have cars parked out in the front within the right-of-way area, and you're saying you're gonna move those every single time to get a delivery in. And I think we had people who stopped out there to discuss with the owner, and they said that they can't control the drivers and who comes from where and what the driver is, and there's a language barrier. So I don't think we can take a guarantee that this will occur without it being on-site. Yeah.
Do you know how many cars you have right now currently in the driveway and on the lawn that is supposed to be the buffer area?
I do not know, but I can
You do
find
not
out
know?
that
Okay.
answer.
I mean, keep in mind, this is a safety concern on Ridge Road, sorry.
I'm gonna guess there's probably at least a dozen vehicles
Yes.
that are non-conforming right now, parked in the driveway, going out to the road. This is very upsetting for us here, because this is something the town has tried to clean up. Over the years, it's been maintained fairly well. Lately, it's out of control.
For
The only
Mitsubishi.
one that's conforming right now that I can see is, what's it, Garber? Used to be Doyle Garber's. Their landscaping is in the front and all their cars in back. Every other one, the cars are parked out almost onto the highway, on the grass. And until this gets straightened out, I'm not prepared to move forward, my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This needs to be taken care of. The cars are maxed out on the site. You've got, I mean, zoning board did grant you variances. However, I don't know why they gave a variance for 40 foot, where everyone else is 50 foot in the front.
I agree with you too. I think this drawing is a prime example of why.
What's that, I'm sorry?
I agree. I mean, this drawing they gave us is a prime example of, it's not gonna happen.
No.
It's a good demonstration of we cannot turn our vehicle around on the site, and it's gonna have to be unloaded someplace out and probably gonna be on the road. So this is a very good demonstration on exactly why they're not following it. I do know that all these sites have a special use permit, and the suggestion has been made if there's been a code violation, that action be taken on that. I would take it a step further. I would have, send a letter to them saying that you've violated the conditions of approval for the site, and the special permit is now subject to being pulled
It's
for
almost
operation of the dealership.
It's almost a slap. I mean, they know, whoever has the business knows what the required setbacks are with the vehicles. And just go ahead and park them on the road. I guess code enforcement's been over there, they've given them letters last week, but they're still out there. And they got letters.
I was not aware of
Well,
any
yeah, I
of
know
that.
you're not, I'm not,
I was not aware of any of
it's
that.
just frustrating for everybody to have to deal with this every day.
And obviously, the truckers don't know where to go because they park out there. If there was a straight line of communication with the truckers, then they would know exactly where to park their truck, not on Ridge Road.
I mean, they take up an entire lane, they sit there, and then all the
Right,
cars
it's a
have to
safety
pass
hazard.
them.
Well, it isn't just that they're parked on the road. Right
It's-
now, it's dry, so to speak. When you get spring and it's wet, there are mud holes and puddles all along there. Well, welcome to Webster, isn't that a pretty attraction?
I guess
It's
there
very
might-
disgusting.
Not to mention that there's a lot of cars that are dropped after 4:30, and it's dark on Ridge Road. It's a real mess, not just for these people, but for several dealers up and down the street. And definitely something's got to be done to straighten it out, because it's getting way out of hand.
Well, it's a small parcel of land. They've got variances for small setbacks on the side, additional parking, more cars jamming it in there. This,
Vision, Nissan next door, they got a lot off-site where they have their cars delivered to, and then they drive them up to the dealership, I believe.
For the Nissan store?
Yeah, same company.
Yep,
And that could actually be done here as well.
yes.
well,
If
okay,
we
then maybe
cannot-
that's what they need to show us that they're doing.
Okay.
Well, then we will,
So there's got to do something, and Well, all right, you got the variance, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, I don't agree with the fact that they got variances
I don't either, not at all.
before this came before this board.
Not,
I mean, this
that's
is-
right.
We saw the concept plan, we noticed it in the original concept plan, the parking in the back was going into the adjacent zoning area, which wasn't supposed to do that, and I see it's been pulled up. Looks like they compensated for it by putting all the parking up front before coming back to this board and showing the changes to the plan.
There's actually
Now
been
in
a
the back
reduction
too,
in the
there's
amount of
areas
parking.
of, says limits of disturbance that do go into the LMR zoning. The understanding is they're supposed to be staying out of that LMR zoning just altogether. Taking away some of the green buffer in there, and that's supposed to be protected by it. So even though we requested that before, it's still not shown in the plans.
We are not going within the LMR zoning district with any parking.
Well, this says limits of
Clear.
disturbance, and it's going into the LMR zoning, and there
That
is
is correct,
modifications
because
to the grading.
we have to grade a little bit into that area.
Yeah, and that's part
Grading
of
is
this.
an allowable use within the LMR zoning.
That area's not
All
supposed
of
to
the
be touched.
parking is on the medium-intensity commercial district, because a special permit is required if parking is shown on the residential district. We pulled that out of there. There is a slight amount of grading that has to occur on this corner, which is the southeast corner of the site. Disturbance also includes removing some of the gravel, removing some of the asphalt that's back there, so that that parking area can be paved and be one paved surface. So as part of this project, it is also trying to improve that parking area in the rear.
I am not in agreement for any approval on this project, the way it stands. It's contradictory to what the town's code has been for setbacks, green space area, so on and so forth, number one. Number two, the violations that have been going on, we have to see that something gets corrected. That being vehicles right to you're here tonight, and there's vehicles parked right out on, almost onto the highway tonight. And they're supposed to be back 50 feet, or, well, now you got a new thing, 40 feet. I can't see this thing moving, in my opinion, moving forward.
So the main issue being the truck turning movements and loading and unloading. Whether it be a formal agreement that is somehow formalized here at the town that says that Vision Mitsubishi will not allow unloading or loading on Ridge Road, and will do that within the site. The secondary option could be unloading them on a different parcel and then moving them individually to this site, or finding some option to be able to maneuver within the site with a semi-truck.
Josh, can you go back to the site, just the site itself? Okay, see where you're proposing the building there?
Yes.
The addition, number one, what's the width of that lot? I think 151 feet wide, the whole lot. It's like the size of a good-sized house lot. And you've got a large building, and then you're putting in an addition on 30-some feet, 30 feet out. Then you're showing that area that's darkened, edge of pavement, you know, for, I'm gonna guarantee you right now that will not happen. That will have cars. That should be a fire lane right through there that would be maintained, and I'll guarantee it won't be. Just by the nature of the way things are gone. And that's why I have issues with this. I don't know the rest of the board, but
No, I agree with you. I see the layout as something that's really not in conformance with what we would like to see for the site. And it's, I mean, it's unfortunate that the plans we're seeing don't reflect the discussions we had during concept review. And also, I think it is a huge issue with the unloading and loading. I know that several of these sites have been in the past, and they've all promised we are going to take care of it. It has been a condition of approval for all the site plans for these parcels, and
Yep.
yet it's still just not being ignored, so I think it's time to stop.
Well, you know what, then, as presented, I'll make a motion to deny this application.
I'll second it.
Instead of denying this application, would the board consider tabling this application so that I can get further information and get further information back to this board to be able to consider this?
I think the denial is appropriate for this, you know, especially since the plan that has come in is not something that we've seen before.
You could present another drawing, or they could come back in with something else, but it needs to be something considerably different, showing where I'm looking at the site here now. If a driveway came across, you'd wipe out every one of those parking spaces in the front there to make a truck turn. So you know that isn't going to happen. So what they would have to do is come in with information showing maybe they have another place, they lease an area where they unload and then bring their cars there one by one, however, I'm not in the car business, I don't know.
No, we do that.
There's got to be
for
another way to
dealerships.
do it,
We do that.
because this has reached the end of the rope, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Just keep in mind, we had a motion, there was a second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. What do I call the roll?
Sorry.
I made a motion to deny the application.
And Mr.
Malta.
Malta
Second.
seconded, so this is for denial.
Yes.
Mr. Kashani,
Aye.
Mr. Malta,
Aye.
Mr. Giardina,
Aye.
Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Kosel,
Aye.
Mr. Gassick,
Aye.
Mrs. Malton.
Aye.
All right, you can reapply if you want to come in with something that's respectable for the area, but this just doesn't make it.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
The last item on tonight's agenda, Fairlife Site Plan Approval, Conditions Modification located at 1886 Tibor Road. The applicant Fairlife is seeking a modification of site plan approval conditions associated with the condition number 1 requiring the reconstruction and off-site improvements to Tabor Road prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy located in an IN industrial district under section 269-11F of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Berger from Fairlife, representing Fairlife today as we talk about Tibor Road. I'll just share a little bit of context and a bit of an update on the project. It's been in the works for the last 2 years. And
Excuse me, could you just get a little bit closer to that microphone there? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, so by way of update, look, as you can tell, like a lot of the major building and civil works is now complete. We've still got some work to do on the admin office. That'll continue through the winter into spring. And once that's complete, moving into next year, we'll work through the remaining paving, landscaping, and permanent fencing surrounding the property. A lot of the equipment that's within the building, that's all in place now. The wastewater facility is online. We're actively working through equipment validation and commissioning. And daily construction numbers on site are rapidly ramping down as we enter the commissioning and testing phase of the project. We've got about 280 of 300 permanent staff hired that are now undertaking training. And this is all in advance of what we expect to be kind of first commercial production from that facility in Q1 next year. The ramp up, it's pretty slow. It takes about 2 years to bring this facility up to full capacity. We've got 3 production lines. The first one, as I said, comes on early in Q1 next year. It'll be over the period of 3 to 4 months that we bring the remainder on, and then you're looking at an 18-month to 2-year ramp-up period. And yeah, just as a call out, look, we're extremely grateful for the support, you know, from local businesses, vendors, people, governing bodies who've supported bringing this project to where it is today. Yeah, it's been a lot to undertake in a rapid time frame, but you know, we're pleased to say that, you know, we're making good progress, and hopefully the construction side of this will be coming to an end shortly. So today, I want to talk about Tibor Road in particular. Tibor Road, it's probably a 1,200-foot section of road that connects our facility to Basket Road. Basket Road is off Highway 104 running north. Tibor Road runs west to east, 1,400 foot long. We've been working with numerous you know, governing bodies on the design to remediate and improve Tibor Road. And that will be our main access to the facility for heavy vehicles. So when I say heavy vehicles, I'm talking about milk tankers and inbound and outbound you know, materials and finished goods. That process started late last year. I think we went through 9 iterations of the design. As we worked through that, it's the responsibility of that road falls under both Monroe County and the town of Webster. So in partnering with both those groups, we had to work through numerous things to get to where we are today. So that plan is now approved. The easements that we needed to get are in place. The MyLars have been issued. So we're now in a position where we can start the work to remediate and improve that road. Just quickly on what we're planning on doing. So there's stormwater swales on both sides of the road. They need to be regraded to new inverts. The Tibor Road, Basket Road intersection will be widened. That's largely to accommodate the turning radius of heavy vehicles, most of which will be, or all of which will be coming from Highway 104, turning right onto Tibor Road. So that shoulder needs to be extended to accommodate those vehicles. As part of doing that, we had to replace a lot of the drainage structure. The road itself will be ground and resurfaced, so the entire road, both the driveways into the neighbouring businesses along that road, that will all be replaced with heavy-duty asphalt as well. And then there's also a dedicated snowplow turn lane which we'll be putting in on our property to allow the town, when they plow that road, to turn the snowplow road around and return down Tibor Road. There's not a lot of room on the right of way. So as I said, that design process is now complete. We had to secure a number of easements, given that we were increasing the turning radius, which extended out of the public right of way. And all permits are in place to basically start that work now. What we're here today to talk about is we're come to the end of summer, or the window to carry out a lot of these repairs. That's largely because the asphalt plant is closed over winter. So what we're here today to talk to the planning board about is we want to carry out some interim upgrades to the road. The condition of the road, now that construction's complete, it has deteriorated. We do need to improve certainly the right-hand turn radius onto Tibor Road. We need to fill some potholes, and we also need to carry out the works to accommodate the snowplow. So we want to start that work immediately and get that done over the coming weeks. And we're proposing that in the spring we will come back prior to certificate of occupancy and complete the works on Tibor Road. So that being re-asphalt the road, drainage swales, and put in place all the permanent signage. So yeah, just to kind of get into a bit more detail on the timeline. So yeah, worked through the design process over the last 12 months. What we're planning or proposing to do is to install the permanent drainage structures on the right-hand turn from Basket onto Tibor in the coming weeks. We will then increase that turning radius and most likely use concrete to do that. and complete the snowplow turn lane on the Fairlife site. We would also go down the road, and any large potholes or, where there's significant damage that's impacting vehicles at the moment, we would temporarily repair that. That would get us through winter. As soon as we can in spring, as soon as the weather allows and the asphalt plant opens, we will then commence the more major repairs, being, grinding off the road, re-asphalting, and then shaping it, the stormwater swales with all the signage. So, look, we plan to do that as soon as we can. We think it's about 20 days of work. We plan to maintain access down T-Ball Road at all times, so it'll be done in stages. We'll maintain a lane while we do that, and ideally we get that done, through April and May, and we would aim to complete all of that before we apply for a certificate of occupancy for the site. And then just on the interim repairs in December, just to reiterate, we would replace the permanent stormwater drainage structures on that right turn lane. We would place concrete, most likely now that the asphalt plant's closed, on that turn radius. That would make the road suitable for the remainder of winter. And then we would, as I said, come back in the spring and complete those works. So in summary, as I said, construction is ramping down. We'll enter a quieter period over the next 6 months as construction activity slows and commissioning activity carries on before these lines are online and moving into production. The design for T-Ball Road is complete. All permits, easements are in place. And what we're asking for today is approval to implement an interim solution ahead of a temporary occupancy, and to come back in the spring to complete the permanent solution ahead of permanent occupancy. There's a couple of supporting slides with a bit more detail on the design timeline. I won't get into too much detail there. I think it just talks to a number of different people having jurisdiction on that road, certainly a lot of hoops to jump through. We feel that, there's been good collaboration with both the town and the county, with our engineering team, but as I said, I think there were 9 iterations of the design that were formally submitted to get to where we are today. But yeah, happy to take, any questions on T-Ball Road specifically.
Well, Josh, yourself, and myself met. We spoke a couple weeks ago. You pretty much know where I stood on it. I don't know why this wasn't done previously on a timely schedule, and instead of waiting till now. I have an issue with this thing being delayed until spring. Number one, you've got 5 other tenants in that area that need access, and I know that would happen in the spring also. But if you were to delay this until spring, you would have, I'm going to guess, more trucks going in and out of there than you would with a temporary C of O just for the short interim between now and spring. I don't know how many trucks.
Yeah, no,
50 trucks maybe, whatever.
Yeah, so
Okay, so if that's the case,
I can just share a bit of
Okay,
detail
go
on
ahead.
truck movements, right?
Go ahead.
So from my perspective and looking at the project, we would have seen more truck movement over the last 18 months on those roads every day than we will for the next 12 months. Based on where we will be in April, like in terms of production volumes, we won't see more than 30 milk tankers and inbound and outbound vehicles per day over a 24-hour period. So we're actually entering what I would say will be a quieter period as it relates to heavy vehicles using T-Ball Road, because construction's ramping down, we're working through commissioning, and it won't be until the latter part of next year into 27 where we would get closer to the total number of trucks expected on site once we're fully ramped up. So, yeah, I think...
Would you not have more trucks in April than you would in January, February, whatever you're planning to open?
No, I mean, in between January and April,
Well,
Yes, yeah, we
Let's say you were going to open
yep.
in January. You would have X number of trucks. By the time April or May comes along, you're gonna have larger volume of vehicles going in and out of there.
Yeah, correct, and that
Okay,
number's,
so
that
based
number's
on
30
that,
trucks a
that's
day.
why the road should be in before all that traffic starts going through. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah, I think ideally it would be. I think there's a couple of things at play here. The phasing of construction, we don't want to build that road until we've got through the heavy construction because it would be damaged. It's a significant investment. The works that we're talking about are in excess of $1 million that Fairlife are funding themselves. So the timing of that is really important. The second part of it is, and I think the intent was always to get this done, through the autumn of this year. The design timeframe, and I won't go through the detail. As I said, there were 9 iterations. The first design got put forward for approval in early December last year. 9 iterations involving both the town and the county. It evolved significantly. That led to the need to get easements. Easements for us are not particularly easy. We have to work with private
No, I
landowners.
understand all that, but why was this not done prior to, so that it could be done? So you could have put it in. In the resolution, when you've got approval, that's one of the first things we had on the approval for resolution was that Tebow Road had to be completed prior to any C of O. It was as clear as a bell.
Yeah,
I'm also so you were just going through the revision process that you went through, but Mylar's approval was given in September for this, when plants were open. Why, if all the construction is still mobilized there, why wasn't this road prioritized in September then?
I don't believe they were given in September. Like we had to
So
get,
your PowerPoint presentation has a
Yes.
slide of schedule where it says Mylars were signed September or October.
the final easements were filed yesterday, I believe. There were 2 easements that we had to get, so we can't work on that property without those easements, and they were filed throughout October. I think the final one was actually filed yesterday.
In my opinion, I think this thing should be held off until the road is complete and then a C of O issued. I've mentioned this to you, you know where I stood on it when we
Yeah.
spoke.
Yeah, we're not asking for a certificate, a permanent occupancy until this is complete. We're well aware of that. We can't go for occupancy until all works on site are complete, and as I said, that won't happen until spring next year. There's, just to give you some context to how occupancy in a facility like this works, it's a large facility, it's 900,000 square feet. It's completed in stages. The commissioning of that takes 6 to 12 months, and that's why this process typically happens in phases, right? So we're not sitting here saying we don't want this to be a condition of occupancy. We fully agree with that. As I said, that will come towards the end of Q2 next year. What we're talking about right now is a specific part of the facility that we're seeking temporary occupancy for.
I understand what you're saying, and just,
Can I ask, so
go ahead.
with this proposed plan, is there going to be a road closure there that's going to impact the other businesses that are on that road to implement this?
The permanent, so with both the interim and the permanent plan, we won't be closing the road. We will have to maintain access down the road, both to our site, leaving our site, and we'll work with all the businesses along that road to ensure they can still access their premises.
I mean, we're in the middle of, leading up to the winter now. Is there an impact to town and county plowing services to get down there?
So to implement the temporary solution that we're planning on doing, so that's very focused on the intersection.
Right.
I'm sure we will work with both the town and the county to make sure that we have the traffic control in place to get that work done. I don't think it'll take longer than possibly a week, and it's on the shoulder. It doesn't necessarily close the whole road, but we have to maintain access down Tibor Road at all times.
Anybody else on the board have any comments or any feeling on this thing?
Well, I just don't understand, if you're gonna be grinding and putting in base in April, what are you doing with the trucks coming in and out? How are they coming in and out?
Yeah, so it's a dual lane road. What we'll do is we'll work on half of the road, one lane. We'll use traffic control to maintain access on the other lane. So once one half of the road is complete, then we'll switch over and complete the other half. So think of it as if you're going to think of a municipal project, you had to close one lane. You'd use like temporary traffic lights or I think flaggers to maintain that traffic. So I think if you look at the sequencing, there's about 7 phases. We've got a drawing for each phase, which shows which part of the road will be worked on and how you maintain access to the site.
Does that mean traffic on Tibor Road will be backed up with trailer trucks, possibly down to 104, while they're coming out of the plant?
I don't believe that would be, that wouldn't be an acceptable solution either.
Could very well be, though.
Has Fairlife communicated the intention of doing this in the wintertime to the other companies that are on that road?
Yeah, so we've got, two of the neighbours we had to work with easements. We've communicated with 3 others. I think there's one business that we still need to communicate with, but we have reached out to all of our neighbours. Now that we've got the plans finalised, we've gone to them and we've shared those plans.
I think my biggest concern is just getting the town's truck, plowed truck services and county, I'm assuming this is done by town, not the county plowing, during a phase where you're pouring concrete and a shoulder and putting in structures, and then also just first responders' access to those facilities and to your site. I mean, this is your main point of ingress and egress, and you're proposing to do road construction in the wintertime, and you're kind of limiting yourself or potentially impacting first responders getting onto your site too, while you're doing heavy construction on site.
Yeah, it's a great point. We're required to maintain 2 points of access to our site at all times for first responders. So we've got an entrance on the north, an entrance on the south. We have to maintain access. So that's important, for us, and I'm sure our neighbours as well. So that condition will have to be met. As it relates to these temporary improvements, fully expect to work through this with the town to ensure they can, maintain their daily services as it relates to clearing snow. The condition of that right turn lane as it stands today, I think is a problem, probably both for our neighbours, people using that road. I don't believe it's safe. So regardless, we would like to improve what's there today. There's also some stormwater structures, some sewer structures, some manholes. Right now they're not in pavement, and we need to get some pavement around those as well. So,
As far as plow trucks going in, I think plow trucks would make the turn the way it stands right now. They've been using it, obviously, wintertime for several years. The work on widening it could be blocked off. I mean, I can understand them doing that, but my point is, why are we moving that to that direction to even put those turnaround or widening that shoulder if you feel the road? And that's going to be up to you guys to make a decision, whether the road should be held off until C of O is held off until the road is completed as per what the approval was, or move forward as a proposal. So, David, Derek, Peggy?
Well, I'm looking at the plans that they have, and I see it's making an improvement so you can get in and out of the site. the road itself is paved right now, it's not a gravel road, right? It's just a substandard.
Correct, it's a paved road that has dual access, obviously over the last 2 years. With heavy vehicles entering the site for construction, they've been cutting that corner. So that corner needs to be repaired, I would suggest. It's not in a good state as it stands today. There's a lot of utility infrastructure in that corner that we need to protect. So, right now, we need to, from our perspective, and I think all of our neighbours, we would really like to improve the condition of that intersection as a starting point.
No, definitely that needs to be done. I see the process and I fully understand how long it takes to get easements. You're dealing with private property owners, obviously.
Yeah,
It
both
does-
businesses.
It's been 2 years.
It takes a long time to get easements and get them filed and trying to get a hold of people. I understand that whole process. And if you went through 9 iterations with DOT in 12 months, it's actually pretty impressive. And it got done that number of iterations in that time period. It's not the final C of O that they're asking for, it's just a temporary, so that they can start up, initial startup activities. And you have a road that it exists as it is now. It had high construction volumes going up and down it during construction itself, and right now they're just stabilizing the entrance using the best materials that they can get this time of year. The asphalt plants are closed. They will not open until April.
So then what happens then in April when they do get to put the road in and they've got a
So,
multitude of trucks coming?
so what happens on 490 when they're going out to Victor right now?
What happens what?
When you're driving out 490 to Victor right now they have it, reduced down the roads. Exactly what he's talking about. You reduce the traffic lanes, you pave one, you pave the other. It doesn't take,
Yeah, but you've
it
got-
doesn't take 6 weeks to do that for the
They're
type of work that they're
proposing
doing.
I don't know how many trucks, but they're up to like 200 trucks a day in and out of there.
Well, you're trying to paint, you're painting a situation that has no resolution then. You're saying it's gonna be impossible for them to ever pave it.
That's
And
pretty much
it's-
it. That's why I'm saying it
So-
should be done before they get the C of O.
Well, yeah, but you can't. The asphalt plants are closed down. They will not open the plants just because you want to pave a
I
road.
understand,
It's shut down.
but.
The only way to do any kind of road work right now is exactly what they're proposing. Stabilize the entrance,
This
use the
project-
road
this
as
pro-
built.
This project has been over 2 years, Derek.
No, I
And
understand.
they had time to get there.
I understand that. I understand
So
full well.
that's what they should have been doing.
I understand full well the time it takes.
What is to say, ultimately, if this goes through, that this roadway will be put in the spring?
That's the condition of the certificate of occupancy.
Well, that's what we already did. We already said.
Right.
C of O.
We're not giving them C of O.
Well, you get temporary C of O.
It's
What's
a
the difference?
temporary so they can start up the facility for initial
Yeah.
startup of the process.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you have a plant that is sitting still
So then if you
for
want to do
6 months.
something, if you want
Just
to.
because you don't
want-
think,
if
so,
you want-
so if you don't give them the C of O, if you're telling them you can't do anything until the spring,
Mhm.
so what happens over the summertime? They're still gonna have to pave all that. It puts it out for literally another
But
6
it-
months.
My point is, though.
I think this is kind of the best approach
my-
that you could come up with.
My point is-
Understanding the time that it takes to get the approvals, the time it took to go through the process for them to get DOT to sign off on it. The fact that the asphalt plants are closed down.
Sure.
You can't do anything else. It's just a temporary thing so you can do startup on the facility. And it's not the entire facility. It's only a portion of one of the production lines, which he described it as.
So if that's the case, then if they were to do it in the spring, what would be the timeline for it? When, what would you do then? At what time would you suggest you want to set something, a certain date that it has to be done, or how, just whenever they're ready
They
to
have a
do it?
timeline on here that works. The schedule that's put on here is the schedule that works for meeting the certificate of occupancy requirement.
I mean, the plan is to do it in the spring of the year, whenever. But then, that's when you've got trucks already coming in. They're gonna be lining up on Plank on Basket Road.
Well, as described, it's not the significant levels of trucks that you have during full production. It's still a small amount of vehicles compared to the full project that are going to be going in and out of the site because the entire plant
If
is
you want
not
to make a
under
motion, go
operation.
ahead, make a motion to approve it.
Well, so is there, just because we do see some people from the public here, is this?
It's not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing, okay.
Are there any questions from the board?
That's what I'm asking, if
Have,
anybody has.
have we gotten feedback from highway, from fire, about this modification
Yeah,
to
we
do
do
this
have,
now?
actually, we do, you're right. There's a letter here from Andrew Vorndren, the fire marshal. In the opinion of the Town of Webster Fire Marshal's Office, in the interest of public safety, we feel that the Tibor Road improvement should be completed prior to the issuance of a temporary C of O. This is mainly because of the impact that will be created for not only the Fairlife facility, but the businesses located on Tibor Road. There will be far more truck traffic in the spring, well, that's what we're talking, that will be highly congested, ingress and egress from the site, further delaying response from fire EMS. Legitimate concern. This is part of the,
So I guess, is the improvement that he's referring to this temporary one, or is he referring to the complete original proposed improvement of the road? Because I think the way the applicant's saying is that they would first improve this road, and then once it is completed, they would be issued a TCO.
actually, we've got, the Highway Department is also represented here this evening. You want to make any comment on this?
You guys have questions, I'll answer them.
I'm sorry?
You have questions, I'll answer them.
Anybody have any questions you want to ask him? Yes, come up, I'll ask you a couple.
Do you have any
questions.
concerns with plowing while they're putting in concrete in the shoulder?
This one? Which one? This one. Yeah, so if there's any specific questions, right? So anytime you do constructions, there's impacts to what's happening in the roadways. It is very, very unfortunate that this wasn't able to be done earlier in the season, as you guys are kind of alluding to and discussing. The actual, what is being proposed on the plan being that it's in the shoulder, and the nature of the work, it will need to be timed in coordination where there's not likely that there's going to be a snow event while they're doing it, for multiple reasons, right? It's concrete, it needs to dry, it needs to set up, it needs to harden. You can't do that in rainy or snowy conditions, right? So there is going to be a timing aspect to doing this widening. There are some pretty significant potholes and rutting along that radius right now where the manhole covers and different things are, so it would be an improvement. So we wouldn't allow it to happen. A lot of this stuff is coordinated through our office, and that's been happening. We wouldn't allow it to happen in a time where it was likely, where we would have a storm. That helps our chances of having an issue with it. Obviously, there has to be signage put up to show that it's there. It needs to be coned off, fenced off. So there's provisions that can be put in place where it doesn't create a dangerous situation for the plowing and operations. The actual biggest concern I have right now is actually the turnaround for the plows at the other end. There's an easement onto the Fairlife property for a turnaround so that we don't have to turn around in private drives, which we had kind of unfortunately done historically in different things. We've been discussing that for a very, very long time to have that in place, and it hasn't been prioritized. So that is a concern. That's actually a bigger concern than this radius to a certain extent. The radius, I think, will accommodate traffic of a certain amount of operation, and it's probably a good thing overall. But operationally for the highway department and plowing these roads, which we do Basket Road for the county, and then Tibor Road is our road, would be that turnaround. So I don't know exactly how the provisions will work or when the TCO is issued and different things, but those are certain things that, in my opinion, have to be in place before it's even feasible to discuss
So Pat,
any
that
kind of occupancy.
turnaround is beyond the fence area, it's inside the property, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's
Referred to?
approximately 60 by 70 easement, so where the pavement ended before into the property. And We struggled with the spatial things there because all of this site is full of lots of different things. Ideally, you would have the T-shaped turnaround that you see in our standard for different things. This one isn't quite like that. It's all the way to the right, and it encompasses their entire drive lane, which will take some coordination. I still have some concerns about, but the physical space is there. Right now, that area is stone, and it's got quite a lot of slope to it. We're not able to use it, and then that combined with the construction traffic, the 3 times we've plowed already this year, there's been significant issues trying to turn around there without having traffic impacts and different things. So that's why that's actually a bigger concern of mine. I think that what's being proposed here can be accomplished without having major impacts to our operations, especially if weather's considered in the timing, which it has to be this time of year. Having that turnaround established is my #1 priority operationally in relation to this area. But Keith and myself were involved with all the iterations on the plans. To Tony's point, it is unfortunate, or at this time of year, and we're dealing with it. A component to the design review for this, you mentioned DOT. For Tibor Road, it's the town staff that reviews these things technically, primarily Keith, and then in conjunction with myself. Because this project ended up being a design-build organizational project, to say there's 9 iterations is a little misleading. Basically, the first set of plans we got, I would say, were about 30%, right? So you're missing half the sheets. It's very schematic. It's different things. So take into account that those 9 iterations started from a 30% plan and went through 60 and different things of that nature, which is a little different than coming in with a full construction set of plans and having that many comments. We were pretty concise with our comments and pretty direct. There was coordination with the county. The stormwater improvements you see here in green on this sheet, that's the county system. That's where our drainage system from Tibor Road enters the county pipe system that they own and maintain. They go down through. So the actual configuration of these pipes was dictated by them because that piping system running north and south there is theirs. So they have jurisdiction over how that gets designed and put together. So that's the coordination part that we dealt with. I guess those are my
Well, that puts a little light on
thoughts.
it. I didn't even realize there was a turnaround proposed for, for the trucks inside the property there too.
Yeah, it's an
That would
easement.
still have to be done too then.
Well, that's a pretty critical part. Because there's so much traffic in there, turning around there is not really simple, so it really needs to be defined and fenced and different things. And we've been trying to get that established for a very long time, unfortunately, but it's construction. There's a lot of activity there. I understand the challenges, but we're out of time with that. We certainly can't consider any kind of occupancy or operation without some of these key features being established. Obviously, having the road fully operational would be better. Given the timing, there's significant challenges. It's a tricky one as far as what the best course is, but all I can give you is my concerns and my thoughts on the process that we've gone through. And I know Keith would be happy to too if you want to hear his part.
It's a tough decision. I mean, nobody's trying to say, we don't want you to keep the business going, but on the other side of the coin is there's parameters that had to be done prior to this, and they weren't done, and here we stand now.
Yeah, I think, concerns for traffic in the spring are very real. The truck traffic here is going to be major. I also do think, though, that those impacts are going to be felt equally by Fairlife, by their operations, right? So any slowdown, any bottlenecking of traffic is going to affect their logistics and their ability to operate the plant. I think that might be something that helps to make sure that they're going the extra mile to make sure it doesn't happen, right? So if there's traffic on this road, it's not good for anybody, right? It's bad for our residents, it's bad for a construction group, but it's also very, very bad for the plant because they won't be able to get what they need in a timely fashion. And the speed that this thing seems like it's going to work doesn't take long to create a real problem. So the 2-lane approach, doing 1 lane and then the other one is definitely the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Alternating traffic will have some impacts. Hopefully we'll be able to coordinate and get some advance warning out on some of the roads, like we typically do for our major highway projects with some of those signs that say, expect delays, things of that nature. It gives people that might be going a certain way the option to avoid the area and the intersection while there's construction. So we can probably implement some of those things when we do it. But
there is a couple of key features that have to happen now, even if some of the stuff that goes in is temporary. Like I said, the turning radius here, I think can be accomplished, but it's not actually my biggest concern, so.
Okay. Peggy, Derek, anybody,
What, sounds like there's the key takeaway I got is the T turnaround. What's the status of that from Fairlight's perspective on getting that established?
Yeah, it's a good point. So the last bullet point on the slide is to install that permanent snowplow turnaround. So I fully agree with Pat. We don't expect a TCO without that completed. They were out there today looking at it. The weather's isn't in our favour, but it's the next bit of pavement to go in is that snowplow.
What are you putting down since you
It's
can't-
concrete. So it's the permanent solution for Pat's team. We plan on getting that done in the next
what is it you're
week or
putting
two.
down?
Concrete.
Yeah, concrete.
Oh, you're putting concrete down?
Yeah, concrete's the only thing we can use at this time of year, so.
So this represents that T turnaround will be in place by the end of next week.
that-
Usable the week after.
That's the plan. I think there's about a 7-day cure time on the concrete, but, and we're not asking for a TCO until that's in place, so I fully appreciate that condition.
So come springtime, is this being then removed, the interim improvement plan?
Yes, it would be. The plan is asphalt, so if we put concrete down now on that shoulder, we would remove that concrete in the spring and then replace it with asphalt. I think, we had said asphalt. We've just been working on the Basket Road Highway 104 turn lane. That was a big priority for us and where we threw a lot of energy and resources. We managed to get the asphalt plant to open for a day to complete that bit of work, which is now largely complete. So we're hoping to try and time some of it. It didn't quite work out with the weather, so it's most likely going to be concrete.
Okay, let's get off the dead center here. Somebody want to make a motion to either move forward? Or
I would give a motion to move forward as presented. It does seem to, especially knowing the turnaround for the snowplow is something that is going to be fixed next week. And it's,
Can we add any conditions to that?
such as,
Well, you
Well,
put
so
a-
I was thinking,
you can put a time of when you want to have it, for a length of time, like spring, what's going to happen?
go back to the
Pick a
schedule
date.
that you have. So here's the schedule, subject to following the schedule as presented.
yeah. The
But
other
where does
ones I
it
just
show
had
how long
was,
the turnaround's gonna take?
yeah.
Right, that's what I don't see.
Yeah, but if you go back one side, it says week 12.
But how many days is that gonna take?
It typically would take 3 or 4 days to do the form work. The concrete's poured in 1 day. And then there's typically like a 5 to 7 day cure time of concrete. So it might be like 2 weeks.
So the other conditions I had was coordination approval with highway supervisor for time frame that the work is to be performed and that the turnaround is established prior to the work being performed. Coordination with the fire marshal for when the work is being performed so that the fire marshal is aware, since there was a concern that was written to us about this. And then notification of existing business owners with a work schedule at least a week before the work occurs so that they can notify their employees that this is going to be occurring.
You putting that into a motion, or?
It's part of the motion.
It's part of the motion.
Okay, okay, is that gonna be your motion then for it?
Yes.
Okay, then we need a second.
Second.
Have a second, I'll call roll.
Mr. Gassick?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Kosel?
Aye.
Mrs. Maltman?
Aye.
Mr. Giardino?
Aye.
Mr. Malta?
Aye.
Mr. Kashani?
No. And my reason is because in the spring, I visualize this as being backed up with traffic, all the way up Basket Road, right, with trucks coming, trying to get in there, with only one lane going to be accessible for ingress and egress. is going to be an issue. So that's my reason for the no vote. Okay, I guess you're all set.
Thanks. Appreciate everyone's time this evening.
Yipper. Okay, what else we got? That was it, wasn't it?
No, we need passage of the October 7 meeting minutes. I make a motion to approve the October 7th meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I see you folks were here, and it wasn't a public hearing, but you are neighbors apparently? Did somebody want to say something? I mean, you've been here all night. All we'd ask is just go up to the microphone and just give us your name for the record.
I'm Lisa Beadle. We live at 642 Basket Road. We haven't been getting responses. We've had concerns, and we're not really getting the responses that we want from Fairlife. They did install the right turn lane, but if you've noticed, if anybody's been down there, they put in a bike lane in between the turn lane and the straight lane or the, make the left turn. That seems ludicrous. There's only a given amount on that right turn lane that they made. Why they put a bike lane in between? Very questionable. What was the purpose of this? As far as the right, we agree with them in that we need that easement there for them to make that turn and everything. The only thing we're concerned about is there are tractors, those big car haulers, that already go down Tibor. And when they come down, they go into the opposite oncoming lane to make that turn. What we're concerned with is giving a temporary C of O. Now, you see that they want to start ramping up in Q1 for at least one production line. And he said, what, 30, 40 tankers in, out, all that. We have one car hauler. It's a danger because he's going on to incoming traffic. Our suggestion is just holding that C of O, the temporary C of O, until they can get that done. Because whether it's one tanker truck or 30 and car haulers, you're going on to incoming traffic to make that turn. We have no problem with wanting that, and they've secured all that land to do it. It's just that we're really scared. One tanker one car hauler is a danger. Now add in 30 a day, and we understand it's going to have to happen at some point. I mean, it's going to hold up traffic, which we understand that. I mean, that's a given. The other thing that we're concerned about is last night, I know you don't know all about these kind of things, but we want the town to know. 11 o'clock last night, there was this lovely noise going on coming from there. Now, you're saying that most of the construction has been completed, all this. We would love to know what this part is right here, and I will play it for you. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
The ticking, is it a ticking noise?
Loud bang, it rattled windows at 11 o'clock at night.
Was there a light with it? Like a flash of light?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if it was that.
11 o'clock at night.
Okay, well, that's good enough. We got the message.
You got it.
You're-
You
yeah.
understand. So we'd like to understand why they're still doing this at 11 o'clock at night. The other thing was that we've been trying to contact with them is we were promised berm and trees. There's been no contact made. We didn't get them this year. What is their plan? I know in your plan you say landscaping, but I think that's for your plan, not for our backyards, right? Right. They took out more land than what they said. Originally, how many feet did they originally say, 100 feet? That they would leave of the trees, and they ended up taking everything right to the creek. We can see, I mean, our backyards, we can see everything there. So we would like some answers about that. I mean, I don't know how else to get through to anybody else. Does anybody have any idea who do we go to a town board meeting and bring these things up?
I don't know, does that be necessary? Could do that, I suppose, but right now, have you heard of this stuff before, Josh? Are you aware of any of this?
We have been receiving inquiries about strange noises in the area.
The
But
animals go crazy, the dogs and everything, they all just start barking and howling. And then the lighting, we were promised, was gonna be kept low or tilted down. Our backyards get lit up. They go right into our windows. To sleep at night is horrendous. Between the trees all being taken out.
Okay, would they be lights that are construction lights on the site, or?
No, they're all on the building.
They're on the building, and they're
They're
supposed to
on
be
the
cast
building.
down.
The turning lane for Basket is so short that it holds 2 tractor trailer trucks. What's gonna happen after that? It's gonna be backed up like you wouldn't believe.
Can I suggest something? You know what?
That there was gonna be a road over.
There's nothing we can do about it here right now, but you know what I would suggest you guys do? Is why don't you come up with your concerns, put it in a letter form, and give it to the town, and have the town address that right through Fairlife.
I mean, same thing with the noise, you can
Please,
send that via
let me
email.
finish, let me
Sorry,
finish.
okay.
Put it into a letter form, then you give it to the town, and then the town can have the building inspector address these things with them directly. Because the lights were supposed to be down, but they're not supposed to be out onto the site.
Yeah.
So that'd probably be the best way. We can't do anything about it here.
And just one other thing. In the beginning of this project, we were told that no tractors were going to make lefts onto Basket Road. That Bolter Industrial Parkway, the trucks were to go straight, land was going to be acquired over on Salt Road, and all tractors would be pointed into that direction.
That's an issue, they're still working on that, though. That's something that's still, I don't know too much about it, Josh, we don't need to get into it, but it is in the process. of being
I'm
resolved.
assuming that's not going to go through
Yes, it will eventually.
someday, but not,
Not today.
right, well, not when they're starting
not prior to them
ramping.
opening up, correct.
Okay. And then, one more thing.
All right, put these things, look at it again, I'm gonna say it, put them into a letter form. You're giving them to us, there's nothing we can do about it. So
Yeah,
put it
we're
in-
at a loss, though,
Put it
because,
into a letter form and give it to the town.
okay.
Itemized
Give it to the
list
town,
of
give it to
complaints.
Josh?
Give it to.
Yes,
give it
our
right to
office.
Josh.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much, guys.
Sure enough.
Thank you.
Good luck with it, folks, everything will work out one day, all right, I'm sure.
I mean, we're happy to have Fairlife come to us. But we just wanted some of the promises that they made right from the beginning to be held accountable for.
Okay, look, I think you got the answer to it now.
Yeah.
And we definitely agree with you about, you've had 2 years to fix the turn, for the plow trucks to turn or the turn lane, and now it's pitch time for them. You had 2 years.
Yeah.
Hold the C of O.
Yeah.
Really do the what you're supposed to do.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. Well, thanks for coming in, folks, appreciate your comments. All right, anything else? We got the minutes done? We're all
Minutes
set,
done.
right?
Yep.
Okay, I guess we,
Disappeared a little.
I'm on the,
I was telling him we all need to write him a letter of recommendation, Tony. Letter of recommendation.
All right, with that, we'll close the meeting.